Alright, today we're going to play some random packs, and this is footage from before the update. There was an update on Monday which added daily mode. Let me know in the comments if you've played it and if you're enjoying it. But for now we're just going to keep on working on the backlog of footage from pre-update. Now the update itself only had a couple of balance changes. I think it was Maltese was changed and cashew nut. Maybe there was something else that I've forgotten, but it was very, very slight. So the gameplay really shouldn't be too much different. There are some visual issues with snipes and things going off simultaneously in the new version. So hopefully that will get fixed before I start recording anything new. But there's plenty of stuff still waiting to be uploaded, so it's not really a big issue at the moment. Now in a random pack, it's obviously much different than the way it used to be. Originally it was just completely random, and so you could end up with a pack where you had no synergies at all, and it was going to be very difficult to win and very difficult to build a team. But for some time now it's been possible to kind of predict the contents of the pack, or at least predict a large chunk of the contents based on the early tier pets. So as per usual, we're playing without looking at the contents of the pack. I think that just makes it more fun overall, being surprised on level ups occasionally. But here we get two role pets. So we get Bigfoot and we get Olm, which virtually guarantees, in fact maybe it actually does guarantee, I'm not sure, that we're going to find certain role pets further down the line. So I'm thinking hamster, ostrich, you actually see mana hound in the shop there. Maybe yeti as well, I'm not sure. Maybe someone who plays a lot of randoms can let me know if those predictions are true. Like if you get Bigfoot, are you always going to get ostrich and hamster? I'm not sure. For some reason I'm rewatching this previous battle. I guess it was because I was a bit confused by the Unagi snipe, thinking that the dolphins is actually sniped 3 times, but no, it was correct. So we'll go for the level up on the Olm, get a bonobo, and we're going to move the Fossa to the front. So Fossa is one of those units that it has had a couple of different versions. I forget what the original ones were. I think it was possible that the original one used to be able to hit 3 units, which was maybe a bit excessive. I still think there are some pretty broken teams you can make with Fossa and Woodpecker. But what I want to do here is run 2 Fossas, and that obviously gives us a bit of leeway where we don't have to spend so much gold rolling every turn if we have 2 of them to maximize the effectiveness of those rolls. So it always targets the front 2 units, and here you can see it reduces both of them down to 1. Now that's only going to work for a certain number of turns before we're going to need to upgrade them. But I definitely think stacking them is the way to go. I guess we'll take Ambrosia and move that guy to the back maybe. I think even though this is a roll team, I am going to get rid of the Bigfoot pretty soon because it is still only level 1. And we already have level 3 Olm, which can be pretty devastating. Yeah, here the Bigfoot hits for 23 damage and gets us the win against Notorious. We take the level up and we get the Baycat. So now we can see a little bit of a theme developing. We've got 1 tier 4 cat in the Fossa and then a tier 6 in the Baycat. And here we go, we find another Fossa. So I think we can actually put cocoa beans on it. Cocoa beans has been changed to be to transform a pet into a random summon pet, which is very, very good. I think I'm not sure if I mentioned it already in another video, but I guess it was supposed to be a nerf. But in many cases I feel like it might actually be a buff. So anyone who plays Danger competitively, let me know how you're finding the new cocoa beans. But anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to look for more cats. And I think the Olm is going to have to stay. It's level 3. I don't really like selling level 3 tech units like this. Especially since it is going to kind of synergize pretty well with some of the units that can come out of the Baycat. Unfortunately, it won't work too well with Tasmanian Devil, I guess. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't know what would happen in that scenario. If the multiplied ailment from the Olm is overwritten by Tasmanian Devil. Maybe it won't overwrite it because it is technically spooked. I'm not sure. I'll have to... maybe you can pay attention and see if that scenario comes up in these following battles. But something that's kind of a common thread between Baycat and Fossa, obviously Baycat can actually summon Fossa, but Baycat can also summon a bunch of other stat-reducing pets. Now let's think how many there actually are. We've already seen Platybelodon, so obviously that one doesn't count. But we've got Skunk, we've got Kraken, and then there's also Humphead Wrasse, which reduces attack. So you can actually end up getting a lot of additional stat reduction from stacking multiple Baycats. Actually, there was Yeti in the shop, so that kind of confirms that you're pretty much guaranteed to get Yeti or Ostrich if you get Bigfoot in the early turns. So okay, here we did get Tasmanian Devil, but it didn't hit the same unit. In fact, I guess the spook had already been removed. But here the transformation into a slug gets us the win. Kind of a low-statted team for turn 13, but the Olm can really do some serious damage to heavily scaled units, even with a small number of rolls. I think, would it be tripled? So with level 3, we're doing an extra plus 12 damage, I think. Okay, I'm not sure exactly on the sums there, but definitely did look like we did a serious amount of damage there from the Lynx. And then I think we're narrowly going to avoid out on a win here because they had the double Ibex in the back line. But now we can replace Ambrosia with Okra, and then we'll go for level 2 Baycat. Yeah, I'm not going to freeze the chocolate. I probably should have actually frozen it there because we can move the middle Baycat backwards. Here I actually cheat and have a look at the contents of the Beluga. I think that was probably because I must have lost to a small one Beluga team in one of the previous runs. But here it was actually Phoenix. And of course we're going to tie. Phoenix, just an absolute tie machine. But our team really isn't improving a whole lot. I think the best way we can improve this team is just roll more times. And yeah, generally, I'm unfreezing the Fossa there because realistically we're not going to get either of them to level 3. But look at this absolute monstrosity of a team. Level 3 Cat, level 3 Hatching Chick, level 3 Owl. And just pay attention to the number of stat reducing pets that we get. And then the Baycat turns into a sheep and we actually win. I immediately sent a recording of that to Rev afterwards. Extremely satisfying when you've spent so much time playing customs and facing teams like those. So we upgraded Baycat to level 2 and then put it 4th position instead. Still looks kind of nice and symmetrical. And then this actually looks kind of dangerous with the boar in the backline. But look what it has. It has spooked, which means it's not just +1 damage, it's going to be the extra damage based on how many times we rolled. So this 5 attack Kraken actually one-shots it. And there's a team with 4 orange-ish cats. Yeah, I guess Baycat's maybe brown. Let me know in the comments, is that brown or orange? Alright, here we go with another run. I might as well just include this one. It's a bit shorter, but it was a random pack game and it also had some funny rounds in it. So we actually get the fish start, 5 fish. In the olden days, if you never played Saprite at the beginning, you used to see this all the time, is that people would take 6 fish all the way to turn 5 and then level them all up at once. And the original fish ability was to give the whole team +1/1. Which is crazy to think about now. But yeah, you could face some pretty horrendous teams on turn 5 and 6, which then basically cruised to victory from that point onwards. So I take the Barnacle here, even though I did roll. I don't think I'm going to end up keeping it though. Looks like we're going to win anyway. Yep. And then we're just looking for another fish. And I suppose I could use the double proboscis monkey here to transform the Sphinx. Okay, we're just going to get rid of the barnacle. Yeah. Now there's a slight disadvantage here because the ordering of the proboscis monkey will matter. You know, if the one on the left goes first, then the other guy won't be a monkey anymore and it won't actually trigger. But we're going to get a tie, so we're going to find out what happens here with the ordering. Yeah, and so the guy on the left goes first. It does give us a yak, which is in the shop already. And I was about to buy the tomato there, but it would actually be a bit of a waste because it goes away once the yaks hit itself. So we level up and get the leafy sea dragon. And we've got the Sphinx toy activated, so we can actually get a benefit from it. Probably would have been better just to keep the fish, but I really wanted to just buy a tier 4 as soon as possible. Here's someone with a triple cappy, but I think they're going to struggle against us, yeah. And we actually convert the rat into a guinea pig. So that works out pretty well. We get the activation from the toy. And then I think I could take Chameleon, but yeah, the toy's going to run out in a minute. So I'd rather try and find another Sphinx. We actually get double Leafy Sea Dragon. And then we have to get rid of the Proboscis Monkey to make sure that it doesn't transform anything we don't want to lose. Probably going to lose this turn though. But then I forgot about this. There has been a buff to Leafy Sea Dragon. So now it doesn't just give experience, it also gives health. So we actually win that turn, which seemed pretty unlikely in the shop phase, but yeah, I did forget about the buff. And here we go, we get the Lynx. So we've had the two other orange kind of cats. I guess Lynx is also brown, but we're going to go for a Lynx team, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense with Leafy Sea Dragon because Lynx is powered up based on the total number of levels on your team, and the Leafy Sea Dragons remove themselves, so they don't count. However, it does allow you to shortcut to having the higher level Lynx, so losing out on that little bit of extra damage from not having a full team of 5 actually doesn't really matter too much. And getting the extra health means that the units left behind are actually much stronger than they would be otherwise. So that was a pretty sizable buff that Leafy Sea Dragon got. I suppose it was probably one of the least played units. Now we get Starfish here, but I think I decided against it because I don't want to sell the guinea pig. I suppose I could have just looked for another Proboscis Monkey to transform it into something else. But I think we're just going to keep it. Given that it is level 3, it is obviously powering up the Lynx. And you can see there that each snipe was 8 damage, but it still completely ruins squads this early in the game. And we're going to push for level 3. I think actually, I wasn't sure at this point if I had the Leafy Sea Dragon achievement, so maybe I was conscious of that. We do find another one in the shop there, but we're already at the level 3. Always nice to see these tardigrade teams, but I think the sheer amount of damage done at start of battle is going to prove too much for the PDF. It was only a level 1 anyway. And then now if we upgrade the Lynx, it will become a level 3. And we can upgrade the Thrush as well. Snipes take care of almost that entire Emu team. I do sometimes feel bad playing these Lynx teams. I actually had that on my list of things to check recently. Has Lynx ever been changed? There are very few pets I think left in the game that haven't been changed at some stage, but I wonder if Lynx is one of the ones that has never had an update. And then here on the last turn, we delete all 4 units, so the Stego has nothing left to buff. And yeah, it turns out to be a perfect game, and I didn't even realize it at the time.